Okay. Hello, welcome, namaste. My name is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel and welcome to 40 days of restorative yoga. Today is going to be another variation of frog pose. And so just before we get started, I encourage you to go to your sofa. If you have a zabuton, which is this shape of cushion, to grab one of these, or to get some kind of a large throw pillow from your sofa, because we'll be using that today. And I'm just looking at my camera angle. It's a little bit higher from earlier today. So how are you all? Welcome and thanks for joining me. The countdown is on. And like I said, I will be expanding the practice following the 40 days together here. And I'll be doing a couple of videos at least, linking 3 postures together, maybe a couple of series, one focusing on the hips, one on the shoulders, and we'll see how it goes from there. I do teach restorative yoga Monday nights on Zoom, and that also may not be continuing forever, depending on whether or not the recreation centers open up and I can go back to teaching public classes on Monday night, but we'll see how that goes. And I may actually switch that from Zoom to YouTube. I do work privately with yoga students, so if there is a particular posture or a series of postures that you'd like to work through, let me know, and we could set up a private one-on-one yoga session. So just for an hour or so, and then that might help you on your way or help you set up a series that's going to work for you in your situation. Today, I thought I would draw a card from the Wisdom Keepers. Speaking of cards, I went to do the post yesterday for the last 4 inspirational messages. And I was taking a photo of the cards and I'm writing the post. And then this morning I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's not the right card. So in the post of the 4 cards from the last 4 days is the wrong card from the earthly souls. That's not the name of the deck. Earthly Spirit and Souls, something like that. And so anyway, I reposted it with those 2 photos two pictures, 2 cards side by side. It's really funny. Anyway, nobody commented, so nobody really noticed. This deck is really special. So Rosie, the creator of this deck, Rosie Aronson, studied, I'm guessing, with Richard Rudd, or she took his course online or something. She has based this deck on the Gene Keys practice. Now, you do not have to understand the Gene Keys to use this deck, but it is a wonderful extension of that teaching. And she refers to Richard Rudd's work throughout the guidebook. This is a program where you input just like a natal chart for astrology. You input your birth date and your time of birth, and it gives you a reading to do with your path in life, your path work. And I suppose that's what astrology does as well too, but it looks at it in a very different way. It's related very much to the Tao. It's also related loosely to another program, which what's the other program called? It'll come to me later. Maybe I'll write about it when I write about it in the blog. Anyway, this is just another way to view your work and your path and your journey and how to work with your challenges and your strengths as well too. And so today we're going to draw a card from this deck. And each of these wisdom keepers, so they're cards of beautiful faces has a gift, to share with you. They each have a challenge, and they each have an aspect of a spiritual quality that is the highest manifestation of their gift. And so within the guidebook, there's 3 kind of layers to each of these cards. And it's just a really, really beautiful offering as well. I love the artwork as well too. I believe the book and the artwork are both by Rosie. Correct me if I'm wrong. So close your eyes. And if there was a message to help clarify something about the focus of your path, the direction of where you're going at this time, could one of these wisdom keepers help to bring that into better focus? Just allow the whole body to settle however you're seated. Or if you're lying down, just allow the whole body to begin to release onto the floor. Check in with the right side, the left side. And then just soften. Soften the whole physical body. This is the 63rd gene key, inquiry. It's a beautiful piece of art. The figure in this card has the elephant, the Ganesha, in the third eye in a tattoo. Forever, not forever, but always being curious, you know. It's like this practice, this 40 days together, always being curious about your own journey, your own path, how the physical aspect of yoga is peeling away the energetic layers. Inquiry. Inquiry into, there's just a beautiful light that passed through the room. Inquiry into the connection of everything, all that's going on within your own soul, within your household, within your community, within the world. Always being curious and never not asking questions, you know, and always being courageous enough to ask questions. So this is the second to last gene key. The gift is inquiry. The shadow of inquiry is doubt. And the siddhi, or the highest manifestation of this particular gene key, is truth. And it's deeply connected with the last one, the 64th card, which is imagination. And I'm going to read the last part from the guidebook, my gift to you. I come to celebrate your love of inquiry, but also to remind you that your inquisitive mind and gift for doubting are best used in service of the world, not in service of beating yourself up. See if you can remain genuinely curious about life without insisting on finding answers. Stay open to learning as your understanding of life becomes increasingly complex and paradoxical. Be curious about your own suffering, for it will open your compassionate heart. One day, your brilliant mind will lead you back to yourself, and how could it not? You are forever intertwined with everything and everything you've ever learned. And there's journal prompts for each of them. And perhaps also patting yourself on the back. Where has this inquiry already been of service to you? You know, sometimes we forget to commend ourselves for how far we've already come. All right, so day 10, I believe we did the half frog, or this is a variation of half frog. Frog has lots of different variations, different teachers, different schools teach it in different ways. And what I had you do on day 10 was simply to have a pillow up the front, maybe something as small as this. We came down onto our bellies. Brought something in to support the upper body, and then the right leg came up, and then we settled down onto the mat. And today we're going to take that just one step further. And so I just want to kind of warm up the hips a little bit here before we come into this. Come back into child's pose. Draw your hips back towards your heels. Extend your arms forward. Bring your forehead toward the floor. Take a big exhale breath as you lengthen. Feel the length in the low back. And if you're able to join me through a little bit of a flow, slide through low. You can bring your forearms to the floor. Keep the body low. Look forward. Come all the way down. Untuck the toes. Inhale up to cobra posture. And exhale, forehead to the floor. Tuck the toes. Press up and back. Half cat, back to child's pose. Untuck the toes. Big exhale breath. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, look forward. You can slide the arms forward. Shifting low, coming down into cobra, inhaling up. And exhaling, forehead to the floor. Tuck the toes. Press up and back. Half of a cat, back into child's pose. I'm just going to scoot forward here. And I'm going to do this one, the sliding forward and keeping low. So the fingers come all the way forward. Forearms can come to the floor. Keep the body low. Takes a little bit more core strength. And then down. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhaling, forehead to the floor. Tuck the toes. Press up and back to child's pose. Stay here. Big exhale breath. Bring the forehead to the floor. And then roll up vertebra by vertebra. And then you can take a small pillow to the front and a larger cushion on the right side of your mat. A rectangular bolster, if you have one, works beautifully. The cylindrical bolsters, not so much. So some kind of a cushion on the right side. Come forward onto your belly. Have something near your left hand. Come up into, as you would for a Sphinx pose, forearms onto the mat. Let's just square off here. Now in this posture, feel both hip bones on the floor. Feel the square, balanced shape of the hips, so that when we draw up the right leg, we try to keep the integrity of what we're feeling in this moment. And then lower down part way. You can roll onto your left side, bring the right leg up. And for some of you, you might even want to double your cushion over. Okay, so bring the knee up as high as is comfortable. Come back over onto your front. And this may be quite a stretch in your low back. If it's too much, you can bring the leg down a little bit. And then come down onto your front, even out the torso. And you can either rest your arms on your hands, or you can place something underneath, one ear to the mat, and just rest down here. And I'm going to come up. My cushion is too far forward because my foot is off the mat, and I want my whole leg engaged in this stretch. So I want the foot elevated as well too. So a nice large cushion. You could have a stack of blankets. And if for today it's not quite what you need, just be okay with that. And then soften the foot. And be okay with a deep stretch in the right groin. You may need to place your hand on your glute and just encourage a little bit of softness in the hip area. Sometimes just placing a hand can help to be a signal of release. And then you can play, of course, with the position of the foot. And then after 20 breaths or so, just come back and check. You want to make sure you're opening the front of the pelvis, right? So you're picking up the right leg, deepening the groin stretch. Just imagine, right? You're a frog. This is half frog. So the left pelvis is open, the right side is raised up. And then come down and be still for about 5 minutes. And be aware of where your body is holding tension. Take your breath, your mind, your mantra into that part of the body and invite a letting go. And even out the breath. Observe the length of your inhale. Observe the length of your exhale. And then see if you can bring them into balance. Full awareness of the breath, letting go in the hip, the groin, inviting softness through the whole right leg. And give yourself permission to let go. Deepen the breath. Soften even more. Take 3 more deep breaths. And then bring the hands to the mat or the elbows, come up a little bit higher, and just slide the right leg back. Move your cushion out of the way. Come down into prone shavasana. Rock your hips side to side, toes together, heels wide. And just feel the effects of the practice in the right hip, the whole right leg. And then mindfully, and just set yourself up for the other side. You can stay exactly as you are. I'm just going to switch around. Come to your forearms. Close your eyes. Feel the pelvis pressed against the floor. Feel the pubic bone. Feel the back. Perhaps you'll feel an openness in the right side. And if you are right-handed, this side will feel a little less intense. So you may be able to bring the leg up a little higher And if you're left-handed, this side will be a little tighter. So if it take time to adjust, come up onto your forearms. Make sure the right leg is going straight back out. You can stay up high for a few breaths. And then when you feel ready, you can come down onto your stacked palms, your stacked fists, or onto your cushion. And just like on the other side, I had the cushion a little bit too high. It's nice if the whole leg, the whole foot can be raised up. And again, just like on the other side, encourage the whole leg, the hip, the inner groin. Check in with the foot, the ankle, and let go. Inquiry. What is your inquiry into this shape? What is it bringing up for you? And if you've raised the left knee a little too high, then bring it down lower. This is not a practice of overdoing it. Stay with your breath and soften. Let go. Another 2 minutes or so. So really begin to deepen the breath, bringing balance between the inhale and the exhale. Make any adjustments so you can balance out your pelvis. Now the body's begun to release. And then just surrender into the shape. Take a few more deep, soothing breaths. If you want to stay longer on this side, by all means, do so. Otherwise, raise the upper body up just enough. You can roll onto your right side, release the left leg, come into prone shavasana just for 2 or 3 breaths. Feel the prana rushing through the left side of the lower body. And if you feel ready to roll onto your back, roll onto your back. And if that shape, so when you come into Shavasana, if you recognize, oh, that was a big stretch for my low back, then remember, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, rest the knees together, feet wide, knees together. Alternatively, if you're needing to stretch the low back, bring the knees in and gently rock side to side. You look after you. You listen to what's going on in your body. You can also place your hands on your knees and rotate. Inhaling and exhaling. Do the same number of rotations in each direction. And go the other way. You may have heard me say that if you are in a place of stress, emotionally, financially, any other way, that the low back, the kidneys, the adrenals will be susceptible to this. So this is really good for you, this low back massage, as well as the shape that we just did. Then if you're able to come into Shavasana, come into Shavasana. Cover yourself up. And just allow the body to integrate what you've done today. Take your internal gaze to the eyebrow center. And inquire. What does your higher self want you to know right now, in this moment? And then when you feel ready, you can roll over, write in your journal, or you can come up to your seat for a few moments to integrate from a seated posture. So sweet. So I hope you enjoyed that variation on half frog. It's a little, we're raising things up a little higher. Tomorrow, we're going to do full frog in 2 gentle variations. So if you are feeling the effects of this practice, give yourself a nice gentle massage tonight, and tomorrow we're going to take this a little bit deeper, and there'll be lots of stages for you to work with in that. So for today, I will leave it at that and journal, really take time to inquire into what's really important for you, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I really look forward to receiving your messages. Stay well. Namaste.